Hello, my name is Gabe Honeycutt. I'm 19 years old and I'm a student pilot here at Lookup Flight Academy. I grew up in a small town in the mountains of North Carolina and didn't really have much. There's nothing up there, and then ever since I was little I love planes. That's always what I wanted to do. I always wanted to be a Marine my whole life. And then I'd say when I was about 5 or 6, I took a ride in a twin-engine plane down in Asheville, North Carolina, and that was when I fell in love with it. But still my main priority was growing up being a Marine. A couple months ago we were in Destin, Florida for vacation. And I was at the beach and saw all the F-22s, F-35s, F-16s flying overhead, and I was like, that's what I want to do. I want to be a fighter pilot. So I enrolled at UNC Charlotte, and then I went to orientation down there and realized I hated it. I didn't want to be there, didn't like it, so I decided I was going to go to community college for a couple of years, figure out what I wanted to do, and try to get into the Naval Academy. And then after a semester of community college, I realized I hated school. But I was like, what I want to do, I got to do this. I want to be a Marine. I want to be an officer. Can't fly a jet if you're not an officer. So I was like, I'm going to tough it out. And I talked to my grandma's brother, and he's like, be an airline pilot. And I was like, why would you want to do that? You're sitting in a plane for 6 hours doing nothing. And I started realizing, I was like, okay, this is not this. It's more than that. So I started thinking of what I wanted to do. Like, priority was still be a Marine. Looking around there, and I realized the airline companies made it to where I don't have to have a 4-year degree anymore. So I was like, great. I'm not going to do this. I'm going to come be an airline pilot. So I told Mom I was going to be an airline pilot, and she helped me look around for schools, and I found this school. I came down for a discovery flight, and I fell in love with it. This is what I wanted to do. I mean, it took some talking into to come in January, but I'm glad I did. It set me ahead of my career. So my grandma's brother, he's an airline pilot. Can't remember what airline he flies for, but I know he flies out of Texas to Tokyo, South Korea, and parts of China. And they was telling me about the money, and I was like, okay. And then I was like, all right, yeah, that's kind of what I want. I want to do that. And then after I realized I didn't really do a lot of research, it was mostly trying to find the right flight school and do that. And Mom showed me this school. And then I came down here and talked to Tiara, I talked to Josh, and sold me on it. Like, I love the atmosphere here. Everybody's chill. I love the CFIs. Everybody's, I couldn't wish for a better place to be at. This school is kind of what I expected it to be. I mean, I didn't know what I was coming into when I came here. So I had expectations that were kind of stupid. And then, like, probably the most frustrating thing is stuff you can't handle, like stuff you can't do anything about. That's one of the most frustrating things, but probably what got me the most is I had trouble with my landings. Like, I'd hit center line about every time, but I'd hit pretty hard. And like, trying to figure out what I'm doing wrong was eating me up. I was like, after a landing, I'd be so pissed off I couldn't. So it started off intimidating. Like, I didn't really want to do it. And it's my very first flight. I was flying to Santiago. And I asked him how do you talk to the tower. And he said, there's this little button, you press that. And I'm like, okay. And he's like, do you want to do it? And I was like, I do not want to do it. And he's like, well, you're going to. And I think him throwing me into the fire helped. Like, it built up the confidence. And now I think I'm not great with it, but I'm a lot better. I'm pretty confident in it. I'm at around 33 hours right now. Like, for me, I feel like I'm kind of behind. I put off studying a lot. Like, I hate to study, but I'm still working on getting back to where I was, because after the face check, I put all my attention into that and getting that face check done instead of getting prepared for the written. I expected the solo like a week sooner than I did, but weather had other plans. But going into the day of the solo, I knew I was getting ready to solo. And I was nervous. Like, the whole week, I was down my CFI's throat. Like, I did not want to be soloing in an airport with a tower, just because of the comms reasons. I wanted to be at Mount Airy or Elkin with like no tower, so I could just do it on my own. And then he finally talked me into it, and I was like, okay, whatever. And then I'm glad he done that at the tower. It helped with confidence a lot and this stuff. And I got a really nice person that was the ATC guy. He was real nice. He helped me through a lot of it. I think he babied me more than I needed to be babied, but it was cool. I mean, it was a lot different flying the plane by yourself. Like, usually if I get confused, I'll just ask my CFI, like, what was that? But it built up a lot of confidence. It was really fun. The plane flies different when you're in there by yourself. Like, I was expecting, I'd just float down the runway on landing. Like, I could not get the plane on the ground, but none of the landings were hard. They were all real smooth, but it just float. But it was a really, really cool experience. So I'm not real sure, to be honest. I know here in a couple years, I'll be a captain. Be able to fly airplanes and play golf. That's what I want to do in life. I'm honestly not sure what holds in store for me until I turn 23, but up until then, I'm just going to go with where it takes me. Just do as much as I can, hopefully be a charter pilot for a while before I get to the airlines, but I'm not sure, to be honest. I'm just going to go wherever life goes.